audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
Exploring faith and the future. Neil Johnson and Bible teacher Dr. Camille Majdali.
We've been exploring the life of Sampson, all of his weaknesses, and contrasted with those strengths that we see in Sampson too. We've been talking about something called consecration, sometimes an unusual word, but more to do with this idea of surrendering to God in a whole way. Camille, when we talk about consecration, let's get a little practical here. How does consecration look in practice?
All right. Well, first of all, remember that Sampson was strong for a twofold reason. And one of those reasons was consecration. He was given to God from his mother's womb for divine service, of which he did fulfill. It tells us he judged Israel for 20 years. What does it look practically? One of my favorite verses in the Bible in regard to consecration, and it's a verse I quote often, is found in the book of Romans, chapter 12. Romans 12, 1 and 2. And it says, I beseech ye, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. To me, these two verses, Romans 12, 1 and 2, describe in practical terms how you can be consecrated. First of all, we do it because it's in light of the mercies of God. If it wasn't for God's mercies, we wouldn't even be here. We would be like toast. We would be a has-been. We'd be off the face of the earth. God's mercy keeps all that. So the least we can do, because we don't have much money, right? We don't have much of anything. What we do have is our bodies and our being. And we give that to God, holy and acceptable, as a living sacrifice. That's the beginning of consecration. Your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit is given to God for whatever purpose he wants to use.
We talk about a living sacrifice because I guess if we think of the Old Testament imagery, the sacrifice is, when it is sacrificed, dies. This living sacrifice, though, this has got an ongoing nature to it.
Well, it's living because we don't actually physically die. We continue to live, but we do die, Neil, to ourselves. We die to our whims, our wishes, our plans, our manipulations, everything that makes us hyper-autonomous and rebellious. We die to all that. We live to God, which means we're now not only doing God's will, but I believe we're fully alive to God in the process. Because to me, when you are given over to God's purpose and filled with the Holy Spirit, you're living an extra super turbocharged life in Him, where the supernatural becomes natural, where you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength, where instead of being behind and struggling and a losing streak, you become victorious and overcoming. All that and more is made possible by surrendering to God, giving yourself to Him, and then being filled with the Spirit.
Faith and the Future with Neil Johnson and Dr. Camille Majdali from Teach All Nations. For more from Dr. Majdali, including books and DVDs on prophecy, Bible commentaries, plus today's and other episodes of Faith and the Future, go to vision.org.au.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.